It's time for Real Talk with Cindy Barber. Stay tuned for conversation and information from her special guest. Now sit back and relax and enjoy Real Talk with Cindy Barber.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Cindy. Please let me know city, state, or country where you are joining me from. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to see everyone. Looking forward to this great discussion on tonight. My guest is here, and I'm going to bring her on shortly. But please let me know the city, state, or country where you are joining me from. Hope everyone has had an amazing weekend. If you would like to advertise your event or your business on Real Talk, please send an email to ms.cindybarber@gmail.com, or you can inbox me. Be glad to announce and advertise what you're doing. We would love to know. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Real Talk TV with Cindy Barber. And also, if you would like to be a blessing to Real Talk, please use one of these three ways to give, which is at the bottom of the screen: a Cash App, $ Cindy's Keys, or paypal.me/Cindy Barber, or Zelle, miss.cindybarber@gmail.com. Please let me know. I see you all coming on, and welcome those of you that are watching on YouTube. Please let me know the city and state or country where you are joining me from on today. For we know this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. God bless you. I see you coming on. My sister-in-law, Kathy Barber from Windsor, Connecticut. Welcome, Kathy. Please tag and share and let others know that we're on. Please tag and share and let others know that we're on. Lynn Reed from Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Welcome. God bless you. Thank you for joining me on tonight. God bless you. God bless you. Brenda from Philadelphia, thank you so much for being here on tonight. God bless you. You have tagged and shared. God bless you. Please continue to tag and share and let others know that we're on. Please let me know the city and state where you are joining me from on tonight. I see different ones that are coming on. Amen. I see you coming on. Anton Milton, God bless you. I see you coming on. He's from New Jersey. God bless you. God bless you. Well, I'm going to bring my guest on. Please tag and share as we're coming on. Please tag and share and let others know. Also, give us some likes and hearts. Please give us some likes and hearts as we come on tonight. God bless you. I see you still coming on. Bless you. Good evening. Let me know the city, state, or country where you are joining us from on tonight. And here's my guest. Good evening, Veda Brown. How are you?
Good evening. I am blessed, and you?
I'm good. I'm so honored to have you with me on tonight. So honored.
I'm honored to be here.
God bless you. So we're just going to get started with our dialogue, and I want people to know who Veda Brown is. So share a little bit about who you are and about your business, which is called Black Gospel Promo.
Well, I'm just a little black girl from Philly. Figured we start off with a laugh.
Right.
Well, I am from Philly,
Mm-hmm.
born and raised, raised
Okay.
raised by my aunt uh,
Mm-hmm.
and uncle. Uh,
Oh,
through one biological sister, one biological brother, and then
mm-hmm.
two. My aunt and uncle had two girls and two boys. So
Mm-hmm.
grew up in a family of seven, being the youngest.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay.
I attended my early days of church. I attended B.M. Oakley Memorial Temple. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Mother Irene Oakley was my pastor.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I was at B.M. Oakley until in my 20s. And then right after Mother Oakley passed away,
Mm-hmm.
I went to Atlanta for a
Oh.
consulting contract. It was like 2 weeks after she passed away. And the funny thing about it is,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask her permission,
Wow.
but I didn't because I thought she was going to tell me no.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't ask her if I could take the contract. And
Mm-hmm.
then after she passed away, I got
Wow.
permission from my pastor at the time, and I left.
Yes.
While
Mm-hmm.
I was there, um, working on this contract, God spoke
Mm-hmm.
to me and told me not to return back home. It was
Mm-hmm.
very that was the beginning to me of
Mm-hmm.
my transitioning into the gospel music industry. Um,
Wow.
it was real simple. I woke up one morning
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
sat straight up in my bed and I heard the Holy
Mm-hmm.
Ghost say, "Don't return home." And it was very strange for me because Philly was all I ever knew, born and
Right.
raised, and never had
Right.
no intentions to ever move out. And
Right.
I sat on the edge of my bed. I was staying at a friend's house. I turned the
Mm-hmm.
television on, and I had never heard of Bishop Eddie Long. Never seen him, never heard of him. I turned the
Uh-huh.
television on, and he was on the television. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, God is moving you out of your comfort zone. God
Mm-hmm.
is moving you out of your comfort zone. Some of you
Yes.
are just
Yes.
stuck. He said, you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you're
Mm-hmm.
stuck in your city and you're stuck in your state. And God
Mm-hmm.
is going to relocate you. And I knew he was speaking to me.
To
I
you.
asked a friend of
Yes.
mine, long story short, I went and told my friend, I said, listen, I can't even explain this, but I feel in my spirit that God is telling me not to return back to Philly. She says, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's so wonderful. That's so great. Me and my husband love having you here. My son loves you. Oh, you're more than welcome to stay. We have a whole another half of the house. You can stay in it until you
Right.
figure it all out." I said, "That is not what I wanted to hear. I wanted you to say you don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here."
Right.
Oh no, stay here. And honestly, I was only
Mm-hmm.
on a contract, so I didn't have an income. And
Mm-hmm.
so I decided to go downtown Atlanta and just that was back in the day before we had internet and applying for jobs on the internet. I
Right.
the office buildings all downtown Atlanta and put in my resume. When I
Uh-huh.
went to the mall downtown,
Mm-hmm.
I sat on the bench because my feet was tired, and I heard the Holy Ghost say, "Fax your resume to record companies."
Really?
I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was the most unprofessional thing because I came from the corporate world. I went
Mm-hmm.
to my girlfriend's house. I said, I have to fax my resume to record companies in Atlanta. She says, "You're going to do that? That's so unprofessional." I said, "I know, but I have to do it." And
Right.
I up four. It was four at the time. It was four major record labels in Atlanta, and I
Mm-hmm.
faxed my resume to all four of them. The next day, I got a call from CGI Records, which was a
Mm-hmm.
gospel record label. And at that time, they had the Mighty Clouds of Joy, Vicky
Right.
Winans. I mean, they had
Mm-hmm.
about 12 gospel artists at the time on the label.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
called. I faxed the resume in on a Wednesday. I
Mm-hmm.
went on an interview on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
They called. They offered me the job on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and I started on Monday with the same
Okay.
little two bags I left out of Philly with. I
Wow.
started my job. Then it was an
Mm-hmm.
hour or so away because you know how Atlanta traffic is. It was about an hour or so
Yeah.
away from my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But her
Mm-hmm.
sister knew somebody who had an extra room near the record label. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a car. So I went
Wow.
and stayed with them until I was able to work things out. And it was actually only for about 2 weeks because I found the apartment around the
Mm-hmm.
corner from the record label. God just worked it all out. Around the corner from the
Wow.
record label, moved into the apartment. They said your first month rent is free. So the
Mm-hmm.
same little bags I left Philly with went got me a blow up mattress from the Target up the street, and I
Right.
moved to the apartment and worked for the gospel record label. So
Wow.
that is how I started with the gospel industry. But prior
Right.
to that, I was working with, I don't know if you remember back in the day, the Cousins.
Yes. Yes.
The Cousins.
I love them. Yes.
Tony Fields and New Testament Ensemble.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
managed Bryant Pugh, right?
Yes.
And it was
Mm-hmm.
Bryant Pugh who introduced me to the internet. Brian,
Mm.
Brian called me one day. He said, "Are you on America Online?" I said, "What is that?" He said, "You're not on America Online." I said, "No." He said, "You got to get on America Online." I said, "How do you do it?" He said, "Look, me and Brian was friends for years, grew up together." He said, "I'll
Mm-hmm.
come show you." He came over to my house and he hooked up my computer on this America Online thing, right? I get on
Wow.
America Online, and it was one company that and I'm getting all to Black Gospel promo. This is all
Mm-hmm.
Black
Yes.
Gospel promo.
Right. Right.
Get on America Online, and America Online had a company called Net Noir. Net Noir
Mm-hmm.
was the only platform on America Online for African American people. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
I get on Net Noir into all these chat rooms. That was when chat rooms was popular.
Mm-hmm.
Get in this
Yeah.
chat room, and everybody's talking about religion, right? And
Right.
but there was no rooms for the Black Gospel Church. So
Mm-hmm.
I asked one of the girls who ran the room. I said, "Can we have a room for Black people who go to church?" So she says, "Well, let me submit it to my boss because you all are kind of taking over the room sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and so maybe you need your own room."
Mm-hmm.
So she sent the email to her boss. I sent the email to her. She sent the email to her boss.
Mm-hmm.
He emailed us back and said, "Listen, you can have a room.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a room. You can have a platform. You can have my staff. I just don't have no money to give you." So,
Oh.
so I built a room called the Black Gospel Chapel on America Online.
Mm-hmm.
I had my own website. He gave
Mm-hmm.
me his whole staff that built out the website on America Online called the Black Gospel Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I started doing was interviewing gospel artists in the Black Gospel Chapel. And
Right.
so
Uh-huh.
I would bring Fred Hammond on, and I was Fred's
Mm.
typist, right? I'm on the phone with Fred,
Really?
and I'm typing in
Mm.
the type. My name says Fred. I'm the typist. They think it's Fred, but it's actually me typing for Fred, right? And I'm
Yeah,
saying,
right.
Fred, they want to know when your next album coming out. My next album
Mm-hmm.
coming out October the 1st, and I'm typing my next album coming out October the 1st. I typed 100 words a minute, so this actually God prepared me for this.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm typing, and so I built this room, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Lord
Mm-hmm.
helped me build this room and gave me strangers on the internet to help me build this room to the point where it was bringing in more traffic than a lot of the other rooms. This was a
Right.
major company on America Online. They had like
Mm-hmm.
Chrysler. I mean, Chrysler taking out $500,000 ads, right? But Chrysler would come
Wow.
to the table and say, we're looking at your numbers. And your numbers in that church is pretty high. We need to be on that church page. We need that church advertising Chrysler. So they came to me and they said, Chrysler wants to include you, the Black Gospel Chapel, in the advertisement. And so they had to start paying me as a consultant. So I started out as a volunteer, right? Consultant. The way I built the room was off of email addresses. So everyone that came into the room, it was their email address. Was your chat room, your name was your email address.
Right.
So I would collect everybody's email address in the room and build this database. But this database is still part of Black Gospel Promo. That's how I launched Black Gospel Promo. Because a couple of years later, they sold Net Noir. And the owners came to me and said, here's the deal. You worked hard. We won't take it from you. You helped build the company. We won't take that from you. We don't have stock or anything to give you, but I tell you what, you can have your database. Here's the database. They gave me the database. I sat on the database probably about 6 months. Maybe 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. I sat on the database because I really didn't know what to do with it. But at the time, I was still working in the gospel music industry.
Right.
And by that time, the Lord had relocated me to Detroit. Wow. And I had worked for Vicki Winans for almost 3 years. And then I went to church at Straight Gate.
Yes.
Bishop Merritt. Bishop Merritt launched a record label. And I helped him launch his label.
Wow.
When I helped launch the label, no one really knew, not that no one knew, but I knew that I needed to get the label and the artists out there.
Right.
And so I began to use this database to promote the artists and the label and Straight Gate and Bishop Merritt. And he had Vanessa Williams at the time. She was a singer with Richard Smallwood.
Yes.
So I began to promote them on this database. So I contacted a company to house this database for me. And the lady said, well, what's the name of the company? I said, I don't have a name of the company. She said, man, you got to give me something. I said, well, let's call it Black Gospel Promo because that's my email address. Well, it was Black Gospel Promo because I had this database and I tried to name it Black Gospel Promotions. But Black Gospel Promotions was too long for America Online. Except back then, you could only have a certain amount of characters for your email. Right? So it ended up shortening it to Black Gospel Promo. So I said, let's call it Black Gospel Promo. So that's how we got the name Black Gospel Promo, right? And so my first client was the Commission Reunion.
Really?
Because Fred Hammond and Fred's brother were members of the church. And they came to me and asked me, they saw me promoting Bishop and Vanessa. And said, you promoted the reunion? Well, how much it costs? Like, how much it costs? Like, I don't know what it costs. I wasn't charging nothing because I was promoting things and people, but it was like a hobby. You know what I mean?
Yes, right.
And he said, well, just give me a number. Give me a number. I said, $200. He said, oh, not a problem. I'm thinking I should have said $400, right?
Right.
But he gave me $200 to promote him. And after I promoted him, people started coming. Well, how much you charge to promote my artist? How much you charge to promote my event? So that was my first client. So moving forward, because again, this was like a hobby, right? I had a day job, right?
Right.
So I go, things happen. God moved me out of Detroit, back to the East Coast, back to Philly. And I go into, somebody sends me a check. Now I'm jacklegging it all the way, but somebody sends me a check and it said Black Gospel Promo on it. Because all along I'm telling people put it in Veda Brown. I go to the bank to cash this check and they said we can't do this. You got to set up an account. I don't. How do you do that? I was a fish out of water.
Right.
How do you do that? So they said, well, we can't cash it. I go back to my little office I set up for Black Gospel.
Right.
And somebody sends me an email and said, can we barter services? I said, well, what do you want to barter?
Mm-hmm.
Said, well, we set up companies. We incorporate companies. Can you promote our business? I said, if you incorporate me, I got a check I can't cash. He incorporated me. I went in and cashed my check. And I looked up, I had 8 employees.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And a database of right now, I got 287,000 email addresses. It's 21 years later. And every artist you promoted on your commercial have been my client. On your opening has been my client.
You said you have 287,000
email addresses dedicated to the Black church, the African American faith-based community, the gospel music industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I've worked with the gospel music industry for over 25 years, from the record label, it started with the Cousins, working with Tony Fields and New Testament Ensemble, to Brian Pugh, who introduced me to the internet. That's why it's so important that you pay attention to connections, right?
That's right.
I had to work with Brian. Brian also introduced me to oh God, I want to kill myself. I can't remember. Button owned the record store at Broadnery.
Oh yes.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And he taught me radio servicing. He taught me how to service radio music to the radio.
Wow.
So I was able to use that experience when I went to work with the record label.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the radio promotions under my belt. I had the internet marketing and promotions from America Online under my belt, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all of that came from Brian introducing me to Marvin Button, right? And and America Online. But it also came from the Cousins. Cousins came to me at church one day. I never did nothing in music, can't sing, right? The most I knew was music at church and Louise Williams. That's what I grew up listening to, right? And that's the most I knew about gospel music, right? And the Cousins begged me to manage them. I said, I don't know nothing about no managing nobody. And I turned them down. And Chris Graham kept bugging me. He came to me again. He said, please manage us. Took me to Pizza Hut. They opened up a box of coins full of money and said, we don't know what to do. And they were making money. They just needed a manager. And I started managing them. And then I went to Brian and said, could you help us do a CD? And Brian said, yeah, if you help me with mine, right? So that's how I started working with Brian. And one thing led to another. Amazing. So it just said all that to say how God's hand was in it. God's hand was in it with the Cousins. God's hand was in it with Brian Pugh. God's hands was in it when I went to Atlanta, right?
Yes.
For a job, working at a gospel record label. All of those connections helped build Black Gospel Promo. God's hand was in it when he moved me to Detroit to work for Vicki Winans. When I went to Bishop's Church, God's hands was in it. When he sent me back to Philly, God's hands was in it. You know?
Yes.
To help build the brand and help build the company and help build the relationships.
What do you think was the most challenging about building your brand from scratch? What was the most challenging?
Trusting God. Because you don't have nothing.
Right.
I didn't have nothing, especially when God created me. You know, just trusting God, you know, using wisdom, having faith. Didn't know how it was hard to explain to people. Girl, you need to get a job. You need to get a real job.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't explain it.
Yes.
I gotta do this. And it's something break. I don't know when and I don't know how. something
Mm-hmm.
would break, and it did break. It did
Mm-hmm.
break. I remember my first big check, six
Mm-hmm.
thousand dollars,
Wow.
and it took me off my sister's couch into my house.
Right.
Right? I get into
Mm-hmm.
my house, and then my mom is sick. I ended up
Mm-hmm.
pulling my mom in with me.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt who raised me. My
Mm-hmm.
aunt who raised me. Now I'm raising her.
Mm-hmm.
80,
Yeah.
85 years old.
Yeah.
Now I'm raising her.
Mm-hmm.
So God had her take care of me so I could take care of her
Take
out of
care of
all
her.
7 children,
Right.
right?
Wow.
Then I ended up adopting her great great granddaughter out of foster care.
Really?
She got placed in foster care and she
Mhm.
wanted to adopt her, and they told her she was too old,
Okay.
which she was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she couldn't take care of herself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So she looked at me and said, I did it for you, now you do it for her.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So
That's
I went to
wonderful.
her. So through all of that, I had
Mm-hmm.
to trust God.
Yes.
Trust God how to take care of her. Trust God how to take care of a child. Never had any children of my own.
Mm-hmm.
So new
Mm-hmm.
mom, trying to figure it out, trying to run a business, trying to do it all.
Yeah.
And
Right.
one day I'm walking in the mall and I had a 3-year-old and an 85-year-old. And the 3-year-old cried, I want to go Chuck E. Cheese. Can you take me Chuck E. Cheese? And the 85-year-old said, you need to find me some coffee. And Dunkin' Donuts around here somewhere.
Right.
So I always said the title of my book was My Life Between Chuck E. Cheese and Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
But
Exactly.
between it all, I had to trust God, and that was the challenge.
Trusting God. That's wonderful. Someone called you the Black Gospel Promo. What they call Black Gospel Promo, the CNN of gospel marketing. Do you feel that way?
No, no. I never did.
Okay.
When, watch, when Black Gospel Promo launched, no one was doing email marketing
Right.
in the Black church or the gospel music industry
Mm.
at all.
Right.
So I was the first to start it, and then a
Okay.
lot of people jumped on board. So at
Oh,
first
okay.
I started feeling some kind of way, how
Yeah.
we getting ourselves, oh, they copy it off of me, right?
Right.
But I used to tell people McDonald's didn't get mad when Burger King and Wendy's came along.
That's true.
They put some cartoon characters out there and some
That's right.
costumes and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember when they used to put them on the plates and they used to put we would collect the McDonald plates.
Yeah.
Then
Mm-hmm.
you look up and it was McDonald's had a playground and McDonald's
That's
had,
true.
they had the Big Mac. They kept branding themselves and building
Right.
themselves. And then it was a McDonald's in every country, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt like I needed to keep pushing the ball,
Yeah.
pushing it,
Right.
just doing something different, doing something unique that nobody else was doing in the e-blast. And
Right.
and I would do something and
Mm-hmm.
I would do all kinds of stuff. Black Friday and Christmas specials and
Right.
all kinds of stuff. And I would put the Black Friday out there, and they put the Black Friday out there. And
Had to
I
be
would do,
creative.
yeah.
Yep.
At first, it
Mm-hmm.
was all just black and white email. Then I
Mm-hmm.
came out doing graphic email. Oh, that was the big thing. Oh
Mm.
God, how you do that? Then I did a graphic email spinning. Then I did a graphic email with music.
Wow.
So I don't know what that CNN means, but
Right.
I tried to remain humble
Yeah.
through it all. Because
Mm-hmm.
as quick as you can get it, you can lose
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yes. Now, I was going to ask you about during the pandemic, were
Mm.
you faced with any challenges with Black Gospel Promo? Were you faced with any challenges like the church?
Most definitely.
Okay.
So I got hit with two whammies. I got
Okay.
hit. I got hit with two whammies. I got
Mm-hmm.
hit with COVID and I got hit with a set of twins.
Mm.
So prior to COVID, I had took on the custody of some family friends' twins.
Really?
They were 3 months when they were taken from their parents.
Mm.
And the long story short to that was they were born with some type of bone brittle disease, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that they were bruised in the mother's wombs. They were taken to
Mm.
the doctors and they seen all these bruises and they assumed that the parents were abusing the children.
Oh, okay.
But they weren't. They had
Mm-hmm.
this disease that took a long time to find, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it took 20 months to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the twins, a girl and a boy,
Mm-hmm.
during the 20 months.
Mm-hmm.
But during that 20 months, COVID hit. And they shut down the
Wow.
day. I just got them in daycare.
And that shut down.
Shut down the daycares.
Right.
So I'm stuck in the house with 3 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do what everybody else was doing during COVID, cleaning out the closet, starting a business, going back to
Right.
school.
Right. Yeah.
None of that. Because I was shut down with 3 kids, right? I had to do daycare in my house, literally set up my house like a full-fledged daycare because
Wow.
they were in the stage where
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't afford to put them in front of a TV and leave them there, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
So prior to COVID, I was losing a little strength with Black Gospel Promo because I was just busy, you
Yeah.
know. But when
Right.
COVID hit, it really knocked me because the bulk of my business was promoting conferences, workshops, seminars,
Yes.
pastor's birthday, the wife
Yes.
got a new hairdo day, okay?
Right.
You name it, I was promoting it. Same thing with the gospel industry. They
Mm-hmm.
wasn't nobody putting out no new music,
Right.
in the studio, right?
Mm-mm.
Nobody spending money.
Yeah.
So that hit me tremendously. But
Mm-hmm.
God provided through it all. God made
Yes.
a way. Then I got a contract on the back of COVID. Unfortunately, I got a contract through Black because my whole background is marketing, promotions, logistics, and event planning, right?
Okay.
So I got a contract with the state of California, and my responsibility was finding churches to do town halls. Right.
Oh.
I actually
Okay.
got the contract through Lisa Collins
Mm-hmm.
from LA Focus newspaper in LA. And she also,
Okay.
I don't know if you remember the Gospel Industry Roundup.
Yes. Yes.
Lisa owned the
Mm-hmm.
Gospel Industry Roundup, and we have been friends since early 90s. I used to write
Mm-hmm.
for Brian Pugh introduced me to Lisa Collins.
Wow.
I met Lisa Collins at the GMWA that was in Philly
Mm-hmm.
back
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I looked at Lisa and said, "You have a very nice book, but it's missing something." She said, what is it missing? I said, "It's missing gospel on the internet." She said, "Well, since it's missing, why don't you write it?" I said, "Fine." That was in August. Lisa called me in, I guess, October. I had just started at the record label.
Right.
Lisa called me and said, "I need you to write that article for me, Gospel on the Internet." I said, "Okay." I didn't even know her. I write this article for her. I wrote the article for her for 3 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I got stuck in a snowstorm in LA at a conference. And
Mm-hmm.
I called Lisa. We had never ate dinner, never went out, never had a conversation more than, "Are you going to send me my article?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
I called Lisa and
Right.
said, "I'm stuck in the airport." I was actually with Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones was trying to get me out of the airport, out of California into Philly with his hookups at the airport because everybody knew him. He was trying to get me on a flight.
Wow.
And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. I
Right.
called Lisa. I said, "I'm stuck at the airport." She said, "I'm going to send a car for you." Sent the
Mm-hmm.
car for me, and I stayed at Lisa's house for 2 weeks. And we were and helped her with the roundup while I was there.
Really? Wow.
And we've been best friends ever since.
That is
And
amazing.
and for years I wrote for the roundup. right? So Lisa
Really?
said I got a contract during COVID
Mhm.
with the state of California doing town halls, educating the Black church about COVID vaccines. Can you
Yes.
do it? I said, I sure can. She pulled me in, and that helped me.
Wow.
So, and then that led me to, I'm on a contract now with CVS Health.
Okay.
CVS Health has a faith-based division. So
Mm-hmm.
I do event logistics for CVS Health at faith-based ministries,
Mm-hmm.
churches, synagogues, wherever across the country.
Right.
So that's another extension of Black Gospel Promo. So that's how we made it through COVID.
That is amazing. God has
And
really
the
favored you.
challenge is, even 21 years later, trusting God
Yeah.
on another level,
Yes.
on another level.
Yes. Right. Now, how many employees do you have? Or do you have any?
Right now, 3.
Yeah, 3 employees.
Mhm.
Okay. This is so good. Now you get to meet a lot of different artists, um, and you promote them. Do you get to personally talk with them, or are you going through their management?
Both.
Okay. Yeah.
I've had some where they want to call me personally and work with me.
Okay. Hmm.
Um, and I know them from just being in the industry. I just know them, so they didn't. Sometimes
Yeah.
they don't feel like they got to get the secretary to call me. They just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, V, this is what I want to do." And
Hmm.
I've done that down through the years. I've done it with Yolanda. I've done it with Smokey Norfolk. I've done it with Donnie McClurkin. I've done it, of course, with Fred.
Yeah.
Um, Gosh, so many of them. So many
Wow.
of them. Yeah, Kurt Carr. I worked directly with Kurt Carr. Yeah, I
Hmm.
do a lot of work with Kurt Carr.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know Kurt from Connecticut. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Now I know you're a person. You're very much involved in your church in Philadelphia, and you love working in the community, and that's very important to you. How has that impacted your life?
that is my life. That
Wow.
is my life. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. But it's something that happened. Is some things you can't buy. It just gotta be in you. Mother Oakley used to say, you either have integrity and loyalty or you don't, right? It's just
Right.
something that's in you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't explain the love and the passion that
Mm-hmm.
I have for soul winning and souls.
Yes.
I had it from a little girl. I had it when I came home from school in first grade, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have my brand new little teddy bear coat that my mom bought me, right? One of them little furry coats. She bought me a little white one, and I went
Mm-hmm.
to school with it. And they were teasing this kid, this little girl. I'll never forget. They teasing her about this jacket she had on, looked like a baseball jacket,
Mm.
and she was the dirty girl in the class, right?
Yeah.
Teasing her, and I had a problem with them teasing her. And I
Yes.
said, "Don't cry, it's okay. I'm gonna
Yes.
give you my coat." I took
Mm.
my coat off. I put it on. I said, "Look how pretty you look. You look so pretty. You can have my coat.
Mm-hmm.
You take my coat, and I take yours." And I
Mm-hmm.
went home with her coat on. And my mother, when I walked in that door, because I had a white one and my sister had a tan one, a brown one, we looked like two little teddy bears. My mother said, "Where's your coat?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I gave it away." "What do you mean you gave it away? You gonna go back down to that school?" Because we live literally a half a block away from the school. "You gonna go back down to that school?" And she caught us up. She caught us up. And she said, "What did you do with your coat?" I said, "They was teasing the kid. I gave her my coat." My mom
Right.
left me alone, went in the closet and was able to give me another coat. Wasn't like I didn't have another one, right?
Yeah. Right.
But
Right.
that was in me from a little
Yes.
girl. I did mission work with Mother Oakley,
Mm-hmm.
did outreach ministry with Deliverance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mother Oakley took me to Haiti. Deliverance
Yeah.
taught me how
Mhm.
to street ministry.
Yes.
Uh, for
Yes.
years, I lived in downtown Philly, and I worked in downtown. And every morning on my way to work, before I went to work, I would make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. This is a true story. I would make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And I always would ask God to show me who to give my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to. So I had, the church would tease me. They would say I had the peanut butter and jelly ministry. And I did. I had peanut butter and jelly ministry, but I became friends with the homeless people downtown.
Wow.
And so when I got to Voice of Praise, Pastor Martin, she had a church meeting, and I'm new at the church, and I knew her from BM Oakley, so she knew my background, she knew my history. And at the church meeting, she said, "I'm putting Evangelist Veda over the outreach feeding." And I said, "What?" I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, because I was transition in ministry. And she said, I said, "Oh, okay." And she put me over outreach feeding. And over the last 6 years, God just did it. I don't even know how to explain it.
Right.
We so much with feeding, and I didn't know anything about feeding, like an outreach feeding ministry. So I started volunteering at Share Food, the food banks, right?
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah, the food bank up in Southwest Philly. And I told them, I need to know what to do. Show me the ropes, and I'll volunteer if you show me the ropes. And God would just put me around the old people who had been doing outreach feeding for years, right? Community outreach feeding, food banks for years. And they just started telling me who to call and where to go, and showing me how to do it, and check your food. Don't give people bad food. Check your dates, right? I mean, just all the ins and outs on feeding. And then one thing just led to another. For me, it was like, if we're going to do outreach, outreach is feeding. It's clothes, so we will have clothes giveaway. It's cleaning the neighborhood, so the neighbors can see you cleaning their neighborhood and show that your church care about where you live. About health. And so then I started introducing or bringing training to the church. So we did a training on mental illness and ER training, because we're dealing with people in outreach, right? So you got people in line with mental illness, right? We would bring in, we would do assessments while they were doing in line to get their food. They could get a health assessment. We had a situation where they checked somebody's blood pressure and had to rush her to Temple because her blood pressure was so high, she was on the verge of a stroke.
Oh my goodness.
So what we introduced that, and just every opportunity that I could find to bless the church. We laugh now, and I was laughing with one of the members last week because we've given out over 130 lazy boy chairs.
Wow.
To cancer patients,
that's
COVID,
nice.
long hauler patients, seniors, right? Sick, shut in, wheelchair bound patients, right? I told the girl who knew me from BMO, the lady, I said, the Lord done blessed me from the peanut butter and jelly ministry to the lazy boy chair ministry.
Right.
Right. So
that's amazing.
I absolutely love serving people. I love serving. I just love outreach. I love dealing, because I've been there, and I tell people that's why I'm careful how I treat them, because I've been there. I've been there when somebody had to bring me a 10-pound bag of potatoes, and that was mashed potatoes, boiled potatoes, home fries, French fries, potatoes, and iced potato pie. I had sweet potato, I had iced potato. I've been there before. Been where I didn't have a car to work, so I walked to work. I've been there when I was believing God for a place to stay. I've been there when I was walking and hoping that my lights turned on, or checking my phone to see if they cut it off yet. I've been there, so I'm very, very sensitive.
Yes, which is wonderful. Really, really good. Now, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs? What advice would you give them? What could you say to them?
I wish I had. I'll give them the advice I wish I had. Um, I didn't have a business plan.
Okay.
God
Mm-hmm.
just kind of gave it to me, but I recommend
Mm-hmm.
you write the vision and make it plain.
That's good.
Right? I
Mm-hmm.
I didn't come from an upbringing or a background where saving money was important
Mm-hmm.
or spending wisely was important.
Mm-hmm.
I watched my parents live from paycheck to paycheck.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Don't spend all your money as the Lord blesses your business.
Mm-hmm.
Get some counseling on how to manage the money,
Yeah. Right.
right? Always never feel like you above going back to school or training or leadership classes.
Yeah.
I'm registering now for Bishop Jake's leadership conference.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm going to a leadership conference next week.
Mm-hmm.
Always, find yourself with, if it's a nonprofit, then study
Right.
nonprofit workshops.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Right.
have, if you, I mean, just like and volunteer. I volunteered at Net Noir, and Net Noir became a job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I volunteered and was promoting people for free.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody said, "Can you promote me like that?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
I volunteer and at the food banks and with
Mm-hmm.
other nonprofit organizations. I go to community meetings all the time
Oh, okay.
just to network. I went to one
Right.
community meeting and was able to get a $7,000 check.
Really?
So you gotta be out there. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
network. You have to be willing to talk to people and listen, and don't go
Yeah.
in the meeting and out the meeting. No, go in and spend some time
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
with people and support their stuff. I support all all their little community stuff,
Yeah.
them to support mine.
Right. Absolutely.
So networking,
Mm-hmm.
saving money, writing the vision, and just integrity and loyalty.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of
Yeah.
times there was times I made mistakes when I was supposed to send somebody an e-blast out at 12 o'clock and I didn't, or on Tuesday and sent it out on Wednesday. I didn't. But I didn't get no attitude. I apologize. Please
Right.
forgive
Mm-hmm.
me. And I said, what? I'm gonna give you an extra e-blast. I'm gonna give you 2 extra e-blasts. Depending on how bad I dropped the ball.
Right.
Let me tell you something. I dropped the ball on somebody that I felt led to tell them, you can have e-blast the rest of your business career for free.
Really? Oh my
And it
goodness.
really wasn't that bad.
Right.
But
If
I
you
messed
felt
up
to
on
do
a
that.
client. I messed
Mhm.
up on a client who had been with me for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was really during a time when my life was so overwhelmed.
Mm.
And he needed his e-blast to go out on a certain day. And if they didn't go out on a
Mm-hmm.
day, don't even send it. You
Yeah.
just missed my deadline. I missed the deadline.
Right.
But he had been
Mm-hmm.
with me for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
20 years worth of checks
Yeah.
that I spent that probably
Mm-hmm.
came when I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Right.
said, look here, your friendship, because at this point he had became my friend.
Yeah.
I didn't want to lose the friend over no e-blast.
Right. That's true.
Your friendship was more important to me than a doggone e-blast. And I tell
Right.
people this all the time. That's the other lesson learned. Cherish your relationships. Cherish
Mm.
your friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Cherish your don't break bread. If you lose an employee, you got to let an employee go. Let them go on good terms. Figure out how to make it work. Figure out how to fix it.
Right.
I had my best friend working with me. I had
Mm-hmm.
to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want her as my best friend or my employee? It was more important to me to have her as a friend than
Yeah,
an employee.
and as an employee.
Know why? If I get sick today or tomorrow and I need somebody to come over here and watch me, she gonna be here.
You will be there. Yeah.
She gonna take care of my child, my home, my finances, my everything. She gonna be there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Wow. Wow.
So
That
that's life
that's
lessons.
yeah, that's really good. That's valuable information. Cherish your relationships, write the vision. That those are two very important things. Very important.
And
Now,
save your money.
save your money. Yeah, that's really
Pay
important,
your
right?
bills.
Pay your
Pay
bills and
your
save your money.
debt.
So as we close, have you gotten any testimonies of people that were your clients that Black Gospel promo really, maybe took them to another level? Have you gotten any testimonies from
I
people?
got a lot, but I'm gonna tell you my favorite.
Okay.
This was my all-time favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I get some flowers in the mail one day. I mean, delivered.
Yes.
Actually, I had a mailbox, and the mailbox people call and say, "Hey, you got all these flowers over here. You need to come." Some flowers. This is not my birthday. Who's sending me flowers?
I think she's frozen. Yeah, she's frozen, and okay. Not sure if she's gonna come back or not, but she is frozen. Give her a couple of more minutes to see. And I hope you all have really enjoyed Veda Brown. She is almost like a celebrity to the stars. She has worked with so many people: Fred Hammond, Donnie McClurkin, Kurt Carr, you name them. She has worked with them, and I thank her so much. She's coming back. Here she is.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, how's that?
Okay, that's good.
Okay,
That's
so picking up where I left off.
uh-huh.
I went to the mailroom and it's these beautiful, beautiful flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened up the card and it was a client of mine. And he said, I had never been out of the country before.
Mm-hmm.
You promoted my book
Mm-hmm.
and I've been invited to France.
Mm.
And I just want you to know I appreciate you.
Wow.
And his first visit to France got him, because my database is national and international, right? So
Mm-hmm.
his first visit to France opened up the door for other international speaking engagements for him.
Wow.
And it was the first time out of the country.
Mm, mm, mm.
So that's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. It's really great. And I want everybody to subscribe to Black Promo.
Blackgospelpromo.com.
Yes, I have that. Blackgospelpromo.com. It's at the bottom of the screen. Blackgospelpromo.com. Please subscribe. I have subscribed. I've been a part of that for many, many years, getting all the emails, and it's been, the e-blast and seeing what people are doing. It's been really great. Authors, artists, pastors, churches. It's been really, really good. Women's ministry, you name it. She has promoted it. So what's next for Black Gospel Promo, and then what's next for Veda Brown? What's next?
Well, I'm really enjoying the uh, contracts that I have, which is under BGP Event Logistics. So I'm
Mm,
enjoying doing the event logistics through Black Gospel Promo. So to me, that's the next level for Black Gospel Promo. Not
mhm.
marketing and promotions on the internet, but marketing, promotions, events, and logistics outside of the internet at events for the African American faith based church.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy that. For Veda, I want to eventually go full fledged into nonprofit.
Really?
Full fledged into nonprofit,
Mm-hmm.
some type of nonprofit organization that will
Mm.
give back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
I could actually retire as a missionary. That's what I want to do.
Really?
I want to retire as a missionary.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to do missionary work.
Wow. That's great.
So I would do that right now if God said it.
Really?
Yeah. If I didn't have to worry about any bills.
Yeah. Right.
If
Wow.
it's all of that is say I
Yeah.
want you to do mission work.
Mm-hmm.
I would live for that.
Wow.
I would live for that. That's
Mm-hmm.
prayer. Like, Lord, when you say go on that, and too much is given, much is required.
That's true.
Mission work ain't easy.
No, it's not.
You got to be really spiritually prepared for it
You do.
and
You
pray.
really do. Mm-hmm.
So hopefully
Yeah.
that's next for me. But right now, I'm just trying to get my daughter out her last year of high school.
Good. Yes. That's
So
wonderful. Yeah. Well, Vita, I want to thank you so much for being on tonight. This was an amazing interview from a person that was so shy. This is an amazing interview. You shared a lot. It was very, very good. And we had some comments too from different ones that said that you are amazing. And one person, Larry Satchel Jr., he's from Connecticut. He
I'm not
says,
married.
okay, he said, thanks, Vita Brown. Years of great information.
Yeah. Hi,
And he just typed in that you're amazing. And Brenda Hurst said you're amazing. My aunt said you're wonderful. So people are really commenting and have really enjoyed. So I pray that they will subscribe to blackgospelpromo.com.
Does
Yeah.
anyone that's on now, do they have their own business or ministry?
Let me see.
Or music ministry? Are there any authors or entrepreneurs?
Are there any entrepreneurs on? Anyone that has a ministry? I know one of my sisters was on. She has a ministry. Her name is Stacy Bent. She was on. I'm not sure if she's still on, but she's on. She was on. She definitely has a ministry. And
Well, that since nobody responded, we're gonna give
Mhm.
Stacy free e-blast if she need it.
Whoa.
And you too. You receive a free e-blast. You receive two. You receive two free e-blasts.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, thank you.
You have to design it, and then you send me the e-blast flyer with a link,
Mhm.
and then I'll promote it.
Wow, thank you. I definitely will.
So it's called Sowing the Seed.
Yes.
You sowed into me. Now
Oh,
you reap what you sow,
wow.
right?
Wow.
So
This is great.
I sow into you.
Well, thank you so much. I've always wanted to be on Black Gospel Promo.
Yes.
Right.
like,
Now,
like I always wanted to be on Family Feud.
wow, this was great. Now, Stacy Bent, how does she get in touch with you?
Give her my contact information. She could text me.
Okay.
Text
Yes, my sister.
me. Okay.
I'll make sure. Yeah, she's good. And matter of fact, she'll be on Thursday night. It's called Hearing from the Prophets. She is a prophet and very thorough. And
Okay.
so this is good because her ministry is doing well.
Give me her information. I'll support her. She supported me.
Okay. I sure will. I'll definitely do that. But I want to thank everyone that was on tonight, those that are watching on YouTube, and those that will watch the replay days and weeks to come. And I want to thank you all. Please join me on Thursday night with Hearing from the Prophets. You don't want to miss Thursday night at 8 o'clock. We have 2 prophets that will be on. They've been on the show before, and I believe in bringing on pastors and those that are in the prophetic ministry. I believe in the fivefold ministry, so I want you all to join me. And this has been amazing, Veda, and I would love, if you're doing a book or something, I would love for you to come back on.
A book?
Would you? Yes. We'll talk. You don't know where God is taking you, because I'm telling you, what you shared tonight has, it's wonderful. Yeah. Very, very good.
I keep telling the Lord, I don't know where the chapter will stop. Okay, it's so much to write.
Well, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. Yeah. So, but I want to thank you so much, and I look forward to having you back on again sometime next year, 2023.
Thank you.
Pray God's blessings be upon you, and don't go anywhere. But I want to say good night to everyone that was joining us tonight, and I will see you on Thursday night. And God bless, and have an amazing week.
Thank you so very much for tuning in to Real Talk with Cindy Barber. We hope you have been informed and inspired by the conversation on this evening. You can contact Cindy Barber on Instagram at CindyRBarber04. You can email her at ms.cindybarber@gmail.com or the YouTube channel at Cindy R. Barber. You can also contact Cindy about having your event advertised on Real Talk with Cindy Barber. Cindy looks forward to you joining her next week for another informative conversation right here on Real Talk with Cindy Barber. Until then, have a great evening.